Yes, we are away with show 65. I may contribute more today. Feeling better, tooth extracted.
Oh dear.
Perform a pucker again. Alright, so what are we going to talk about today, babe?
Well, two very important issues, really. First off, religion. It's all bullshit.
Oh. It's sickening. I just read, I'll read it to you because it's worth reading. Gabe, who is still in Egypt and was, what's this one all about? I've got Audacity open twice. Must be yesterday. Don't know what that was. Must be.
Call it 63.
Must have been 64. Okay. All right, still plugging away there. As you know, Egypt is now part of Israel. El-Sisi, his mother, a Moroccan Jew, has infiltrated. And anyway, bottom line is that El-Sisi was given all of the information that Yah sent him while we were there last year. It was revealed sometime before that by an Arab man on Arab radio that he was in fact a Jew and had infiltrated. Anyway, now it's all played out and he is showing his hand, having stopped a Libyan aircraft delivering supplies into Gaza, aiding and abetting Israel, shutting down all of the supply line tunnels into Gaza, etc. So he's certainly showing his hand, and apparently there was a car bomb at the Giza where 3 people were killed a couple of days ago. I read that on a tweet. But anyway, so Gabe writes, this is yesterday. What's today? Today's the 31st, so yesterday is 30th. He says, the first church in Egypt today who took the time to listen to the good news, the Coptic church nearest to the Great Pyramid. The head priest rejected the info instantly and wanted to learn 0 details as per most Egyptians. The second priest gave me 2 hours. He took notes, and on my own I found an Egyptian female doctor after the morning service, which I attended, and she acted as translator. Then the priest invited me to breakfast with another priest. I watched as they did their donations counting cash. I doubt they will follow up with the info, but nevertheless they were served the news. So, well done. We were thrown out, weren't we?
Oh, yeah.
We went to, and that's what I said. I said the cave church, the father of it. Look up the cave church in Egypt. It's above the Zabaleen village. So his father and his assistant rejected completely. Actually, forcibly were threatening to get the security guards to take our camera because we were filming. You all remember Adam from the cave church last year?
Of course, it would have ended up with a broken jaw, but that...
that would, yeah, the power of God coming upon you.
When I get angry, you better watch out. It's very, very serious.
However, so just on this subject of religion, I just said Yah is over the lot of them. I mean, we both are. The sight of them makes him sick. It seriously does. All of these Coptic priests in their black and their beards, and then the Jews, the Hasidic Jews, you know, the ones who think that they are the true Jews, marching with their blood, they all make us absolutely sick, as do the Christians who are standing with Israel as babies are being slaughtered. And Netanyahu was given the news about their DNA. They are not Jews. They do have no claim at all, one iota, to Palestine. He's known it now for some time, and it's what the cleansing of the Ukraine is all about. They are going back to their, their true promised land, ancient Khazaria.
Well, the point is, I want both. They're not going back.
Well,
now, Tony Abbott quietly shifts. Tony Abbott is a Prime Minister of Australia. He's a Catholic and not a very, very bright individual. Now, he's quietly shifts his UN position to support Israeli settlements, upsetting the Palestinians. So the Abbott government has swung his support
further behind Israel at the expense of Palestine. See, he's a sneak, this
Oh, he's a
bastard.
snake.
In November, after he got elected, he very quietly, once again, made no announcement and removed the classification of Israel as being an occupier of Palestine. He removed that reference to them. Now, apparently Netanyahu, Joel found it, was supposed to come and visit mid-July to Australia, invited by the Australian Zionist Federation, which are all the Jews out of Sydney and Melbourne, etc. And he was to meet with the Prime Minister, etc., but Netanyahu cancelled his visit to Australia because it was in the thick of solving the mystery over the 3 Israeli boys that were shot dead, as reported now by a lone cell, not by Hamas or anything to do with Palestine, which was the pretext for the war that they've been waging for the last 3 weeks, whatever it is. They're your glasses.
Finally found them. My little sweetheart here, as lovely as a little girl she is, has this appalling habit. Now, what I do is I might lay down on the lounge over here and watch TV, and I take my glasses off like that because I don't really need glasses to see distances. I use these for up close.
When he says
right?
TV, he means
So
YouTube.
I'll put them over like that on the table or whatever. And then later on I'll reach for them and they're gone.
This is after dinner. We
Doesn't
eat
matter
from the
when
same
it is.
table, so
I have a rule in the house. Do not ever touch my glasses. Right? It's a simple. I only ever demand one thing of my little sweetheart here. She can do anything she likes. Don't touch my glasses. And every day she will touch my glasses, move them, put them on the table, put them over in the cupboard, put them on the drawer, somewhere where I can't find them. I
All
find
we
it
have to do is
particularly
ask.
frustrating. What part of don't touch the fucking glasses don't you understand?
Oh, babe, but I forget every time I pick them up. My focus is on getting the table set for dinner. We're about to have dinner.
What
Everything
part of
goes on.
don't touch the glasses don't you understand?
I don't. I understand it completely. However,
Why do you
if
touch them?
if I completely forget,
Why do you
at
touch
the
them?
Because I forget at the instant that I'm doing it. I totally forget until after dinner. You say, "Where are my glasses?" And I go, "Uh oh." So last night you tried to make me promise not to touch them, and I said, "Well, I can't do that. How can I promise something that I know I'm going to forget again?" And
Now, these other glasses here, I've been looking for those for 2 weeks.
and they've been under his nose, right there.
Under my nose. I like to be on my nose.
Right, let's move on along. What are we talking about today?
I don't know. I've lost it.
No. It was
That's the kind of thing that put me to total confusion. I just think there's no hope for the earth. If you can't remember one simple thing, there's no hope for the planet.
Antarctica.
Antarctica. Each day the sunlight, by tomorrow the sunlight will be 9 hours 40 minutes of sunlight for Antarctica, and it's supposed to be in complete darkness. Now what this means is that the earth is turned over on its side, and another thing that really, this is almost as bad as the glasses. Why aren't they telling you this? What is it about the world where the people are worse than mushrooms? They keep you completely in the dark. They tell you nothing. Like, I'm a big boy. I'd like to know what's going on around me. Right? I've always been the same. You're a little girl. Very little. You like to know what's going on, right? But it's not. It's all bullshit.
Yeah, when I found
Religion is all bullshit. Politics is all bullshit. Medicine is all bullshit. Now, what this means is that by the time we hit January, it's going to be a full meltdown of Antarctica because it's melting all at the moment. So when you get the sun shining straight on it, it's going to start melting big time. But there's a good point to it. There's a good and a bad. The good is that the amount of pollution that's coming off America in particular through the GMO products, and everyone's going to the toilet and it's all shitting out through your intestines into the water and the sewage treatment plants. There's no magic in a sewage treatment plant. All it does is mix it up and make it fine and take all the plastics and bits of junk out of it. Everything else gets piped straight out to sea. Now in Sydney, for example, many years ago when I was a child, they dug a tunnel down from Bondi area, Watson's Bay, and they dug this tunnel down through the bedrock, out to sea a couple of miles, and then they exhaust all the sewage out into the sea. Now that's a city of 4 or 5 million people now. And what struck me at the time, my father or stepfather had brought home what is called a leather jacket fish. They're, I don't know why they call them leather jacket, I suppose it's a tough skin. Because it doesn't seem to have scales like a normal fish. Anyhow, brought this home for my mother to cook. And then I discovered, the dog outside, we've got a very intelligent dog. It's on a lead to stop him following Adam when he wants to go to town or something. And very cleverly walks around a post, round and round and round, and gets this 30-metre lead shortened down to about 2 inches, right? What the hell was I talking about? Antarctica. Okay. The leather jacket fish. And I thought, oh, yeah, okay, I like fish. Find that the leather jacket fishes were caught where the sewage effluent comes out into the ocean. That's where they catch the fish. So the fish lives in the sewage. So I thought, hello, I don't really want to eat that. Okay, now let's get back to serious business here. The good thing is that the sewage coming out along the coast of the United States is all your GMO through your intestines, which is a Roundup type product that will kill all of the plankton, which then is the food chain. Kill the plankton, everything's dead, right up to the whales. So the bullshit of Fukushima, we found out that there's no harm in bloody Galen, Windsor. Mm. He, an expert on it, he used to, like, you've got these big tanks that they have the rods in, you look down inside and they put the rods in, and then this is where the nuclear fusion takes place to a certain extent. They call it, I think it's fusion. Anyhow, it gives us an enormous amount of heat. And what he's saying was, he used to swim in it every day for 30 years in these pools. They're nice and warm. Right? No one else is swimming it, only him. He was in charge of developing the means for handling this stuff. And he said plutonium, you can hold it in either hand. Right? Put them together slowly, and then you get, say, several inches apart, they start to glow. The air will start to give off this blue light. And that's getting to the point. Get them closer together, then they're going to go into a reaction between the two, and you have a gigantic amount of heat generated, which creates steam. Because all a nuclear reactor does is create steam. That's what Einstein said is a hell of a way to boil water. But then again, he was a Jew, so you can't believe a Jew, right? So it's not a hell of a way to boil water at all. It's a perfect way to boil water because of the energy content. So what's happened was these things are so efficient that it is better to have small reactors for every 10 blocks in a city than one huge reactor, because it does away with the high tension lines, which cost a fortune. They are the things that give you the radiation problem, because when you have an alternating current, there is a corona given off, and it's a magnetic field that, let's say there's a wire like so, a magnetic field expands out, then it collapses, comes back in again. It expands out and collapses. Well, if you get close to it, you can walk under any high tension line in America and hold up a fluorescent tube and it'll glow, right? Because of the electromotive force that comes off the alternating current, the collapsing of the wave and then expanding. It's magnetic, that's what it is, EMF. So, you won't have that problem and the costs. And what Winston was saying was that $20 a year, all the electricity you want. It's that efficient. So they come up with the idea that you can only use up 7% of the fuel rod. And then you've got to get rid of it. Oh, wow. Dig holes. What are we going to do? Whatever. It's bullshit. They can run them right down till they've got nothing left.
Everything that they call waste is really
everything what comes out of the mouths of scientists and politicians is, what's the word I'm searching for? Bullshit. Everything's bullshit. Religion. You blow yourself up, going to get 70 virgins, I believe, if you're a Muslim. When you get up there, you find there's a one-way street straight down into hell. You ain't going to heaven at all. Right? Because all heaven is at this time is a recycling to bring you back to the judgment, which is now, and then whether you stay here or not. That's why I've said to you lots of times, and the Bible refers to it, of the parts that are genuine. Right? A new Bible would have to be printed with red lines through it. This is Jesus, that's bullshit, that's Jesus, this is what he did say, this is what he didn't say. Here for the children. So it's the little ones that are going to make it into paradise with me in charge and my little sweetie over here giving me orders. Right? And I won't need glasses because I have them grafted onto my nose. Right?
Drink enough boron, babe, and you'll get...
My eyes are perfectly good. It's this fine print I want to look at. Right? I haven't got magnification like bloody Superman, which is a good idea, but I just need to be able to put my hand out and grab them when I feel like it. It's not a big task.
All right, tonight...
I don't need new clothes.
I will promise...
Matter of fact, I go to all the second-hand joints to buy clothes, or my wife does. I don't do it, in fact, because I hate the places. Right? I never spend money. Right? All I want is a pair of fucking glasses that's on the end of my fingertips when I want them. That's not hard, is it? Now my next bit, I got a crick in the neck because I've turned so...
I promise to do my best to leave your glasses alone.
You know what I
Not
thought? I was laying in bed last night, I thought...
With the caveat.
This is the most unattractive woman of all time. Right, here I'm laying with this lovely creature in bed, and I'm thinking I want to strangle her. Right? That's not really a turn on, is it? Right, I'm thinking, why does this dopey little bloody woman not leave my glass? Here she is, the most intelligent woman on earth, and cannot leave my glasses alone. I find it so frustrating. Oh, I'm thinking, how am I going to get out of this? I'm in hell. Of course I'm in hell. Even my sweetheart can't leave me fucking glasses alone. Right, it's not that hard. Neither is anything else for that matter. If you know what I'm talking about. So, it's very unattractive to have someone who is extremely intelligent who can't take a simple order. Don't touch my glass. I don't ask for anything else. I don't tell her what I want for breakfast. I don't care. Right. Just don't touch my fucking glasses. All right. So, we have the water that's going to be melting off Antarctica. It's going to cover the earth with a foot of fresh water. And fresh water floats on top of salt water. So what's that mean? That it's going to refresh the seas. It's going to clear up the problem. Right? However, if you're in the northern part of the earth, guess what? You're going to get very cold. Because there ain't going to be any sunshine shining on northern Europe or America. That's how serious it is. Now the earth is rolling over. It's not going to happen quickly. It happens slowly. And your scientists aren't telling you. So in other words, will there be food production? That there would normally be food production? Well, depends how dark it gets and for how long and how cold it gets. I'll guarantee you Obama will have no problem with food. Or Netanyahu, while they're bombing Palestine. I mean, to me, this is a complete and utter nightmare. Right? The glasses don't help. But in reality, look at it from my perspective. You come back to the shithole where man has the ability to create nuclear fusion, and what do they do with it? They use it for bombing Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Just an experiment. And there's a man called Lawrence who sat in one of the planes, or maybe both, as a co-pilot position to watch the explosion over Hiroshima or Nagasaki, I don't know which one, or both. And he was a Jew. Changed name. That's how serious it was. The Jews had taken over. That's why I'm very pissed off with Adolf Hitler. The amount of suffering and deaths is even to this day continuing. All around the world, let alone Monsanto seed and everything else is killing you. All the people is dying of diabetes, which is a cure for. All the people is dying of malaria, which is a cure for. Biggest killer in the world, in fact. All the people dying in America and throughout the world with cancer. Your straw man account, they're waiting for it to kick in because when you die, you're worth several $1 million, $100 million, maybe more, for every straw man. Look it up, lulu.com. The Straw Man Burneth, free download, right? Read it. It's got me in there as well, of course, because I wrote it. But it's also got the Great Pyramid and some of the things that they're explaining about the Great Pyramid. That was one of the only way I could get the word out about the Great Pyramid. What it means was people's greed. They want the straw man to be paid out because I'm saying, hey, do this and you get your straw man back, get a couple $100 million. Oh yeah, you got to go and get that book. They don't buy it, of course. They download it for free, and in it, it's got me talking about it. So if I know all about the straw man, I might know all about the pyramid, right? And if I know all about that, I might know all about the Bible, and I might know all about the Jews and the Muslims. I might be a pretty smart fellow. It might be God himself. It is a promise that he is coming back, right, as the comforter. All right, so we have this very serious problem happening. You've got to tell everybody. Look it up yourself. Nehemiah, Neumeier, down at Antarctica. It's at 70 degrees 40 south, by 8:40 or 8:15 west, something like that. This is reality. You can see it today. You can look up the time it should be darkest in Antarctica, and it should be dark right now. Yet it's increasing leaps and bounds. It's already 9 hours and 10 minutes at the moment of sunshine for Antarctica. So on the good part, it's going to melt it. On the bad part, they're going to say it's caused by cows farting or something. Something brilliant. Something very clever. Which brings us back to the bullshit factor. We shouldn't rename this show. It's all bullshit. Right? Wouldn't that be a better name? Not the Golightly Marshall Hour. It's all bullshit hour.
Alright.
Why don't we do that? Just rename it. Holy moly. Ugh. So, as far as being in hell, I've been in hell all my life. And I am totally stunned how deep hell is. I mean, it's all right to be in hell, and like, okay, go World War I, World War II, World War III, what they coming on. It's all the same bloody war. There's never been an end to war. If you look at Yale, study the Skull and Bones. They got war written on the inside. It even goes back to ancient times. They cause wars because it puts a fear, not of God, but fear of the devil in everybody, and they are in control, because if you step out of line, they're going to skin you alive. That's not happy at all. So this is how the world is run. Now, okay, having said all that, write that all down, folks. God thinks the world is bullshit, and I'm very seriously thinking of destroying the whole thing. We've got the Kachina prophecy. We see the stars coming in, they're red and they're changing colour. The most brilliant thing you've ever seen. We've got photographs of it. We've done it on YouTube before. And one is red, one is blue. We've got Nibiru coming in, magnetic field. That's why the Earth's in such a bloody problem it is at the moment. And we've also crossed over the Milky Way galaxy. And make it easy on yourself. Put some water in the sink and drain the water out. It'll go backwards, for fuck's sake. It's not that hard. It's caused by the bloody rotation of the Earth through the Milky Way galaxy. Right? It's the galaxy turning that causes the fucking Coriolis effect. Wake the fuck up. Oh. Look at this arsehole here, Tony Abbott. What an arsehole. I'd love to get hold of him and strangle him on the spot. Oh dear. I remember years ago on the radio interview, a guy said to me, and a lot of Americans listen to this, saying, well, if you had the opportunity to be in the White House, in the Oval Office with Netanyahu and Obama, He was like waiting for my response. And I said, can I take an Uzi and a full clip? Right? I would have no problem putting a bullet in there. No problem at all. See, God gets blamed for death anyhow, right? I'll just do it physically. Right? I don't have to wait until the angels of death comes along and sucks the soul out of you because I'm telling them to go do it, right? But I'd rather have the pleasure myself. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. I'd rather put a bullet in myself. And I mean it, 100%. Take me to court. I just threatened Obama with death. The Queen, how that? What am I going to do with the Queen? I'd string her up. No problem. And her husband, a child molesting mongrel bastard he is. Charles, he's gone. They're all going. It's just a matter of time. Now, yesterday, oh dear, we go see this old fellow. He's an expert on growing organic food. He does it with several ways. He's experimenting with different ways, using the fish to create the hydroponics, is it? Aquaponics. And then he said don't do hydroponics, but he does a little bit of himself. He's testing this out and this that. He's also using bags that with a little bit of water in the bottom of them. The shopping bag that's got a sort of like a woven material,
fabric,
plastic, the fabric.
Shopping bags.
And he fills that with soil, and then he places it in a bucket with a little bit of water in the bottom of it, and then he cuts holes in the bucket to let the light through. All sorts of things like this. He's done all sorts of stuff. However, 7 years ago he was in Lebanon. His wife, is she Lebanese?
She's Lebanese. They've been married 27 years. 27 years married, and they were farmers, right? For 20 years.
For 20 years. And next thing, the Israelis come over and they bomb his farm. Right, in Lebanon. Why? Well, he happened to have PVC pipes. Ooh! You know what a PVC pipe is? That's what you put underground for a septic tank. If you've got holes in it, they use it for septic tank drainage into a septic field. Or you use it for draining water off your gutters, or any kind of pipe work that you need that uses, instead of using metal, they've gone to PVC, plastic. And you get the plastic elbows and you can cement them on, and it's quite a good product. And for that, the Israelis come and bombed his farm. 13 of his workers were killed. And one little girl he talks about with tears in his eyes had her arms blown off. It's an Australian fellow. His wife. So it brought it home to me. He's a man about my age, isn't he?
Yes.
He might be younger than me.
He could be younger.
Very experienced man when it comes to growing organic food. Now, he was also saying that 2 weeks ago, some organisation, apparently representing the Australian government, come out to look and see what he's doing.
From Melbourne.
They flew up from Melbourne. Now, we're talking Queensland here, which is quite a flight. It's how far is it?
Well, it's 2 hour flight.
2 hours flight, so it's well over 1,000 kilometres. Easy. It's 800 kilometres from Sydney to...
Yes, it's about
1,600 kilometres.
Where he is, yeah.
To where he is. They flew up especially to look and see what he's doing. Telling him that what he has done in certain instances cannot be done, therefore he is bullshitting, and he planted these particular plants in a bucket.
English spinach, which has grown to be this high, whereas normally that's as high as it grows. And they
so it's bullshit.
Told him it's not possible. He goes, well, I'm doing it.
But the point is, this man, he doesn't want to sell his products, he wants to give them away. So let's flash over to America. Apparently, you can't grow anything, but if you do, and you give it to your next door neighbour, that's against the law. You can't give water to your next door neighbour, that's against the law. But really, I can't get my mind around this. I'm stunned by it all. how these things become laws. They've got laws now in America where execution, guillotine. Hello, where does that come from? I read long time ago of an order of 130,000 carriages made in China that has 3 layers for transporting prisoners with shackles, photographs of it, shackles on the wall to hold the person shackled to the wall, and also on board each of these things is a guillotine. They were 130,000 of them were stored up in Montana. Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
No, I'm having a hard time with everything right now.
You get your mind around that. This is something I saw with my own eyes, right? I mean, I've driven through Montana, I've driven through Alberta, I've driven across the United States. As a matter of fact, I wound my way across Canada because the fuel on Canada's side was more expensive than the American side, so I go across into America, fill fuel up, drive for several hours through America, go back to Canada, look at the other side, and it's a huge place. The actual road trip across Canada is around 5,000 miles, although the country itself is only 3,200 miles across from island to island. That's Queen Charlotte's to Nova Scotia. But the road winds back and forwards, up around mountains and so forth, so it is a long drive. And I drove all the way to New York, went to Toronto and to Montreal. Interesting, in Montreal, they had this Hare Krishnas, and they had this, I don't even know how they did it, it was quite a brilliant thing really, this huge, like a wooden the spoke wheels were about 10 foot high, and those, the thing would be 20 feet wide and 30 or 40 feet long, and they're pushing it along through the main street of Montreal. Like, what the fuck is going on with these mad bastards, right? And they've got Krishna sitting up on top of it. Talk about the Apostles' Creed. On the 3rd day he rose again from the dead. Where's he been for 2 fucking days? In hell. This is it. Right? Everywhere you look, the Jews, the fucking Jews, the Jews, the Jews, the Jews, everywhere, Jews. We go to Egypt, Assisi. We brought the cures for, when they've got a huge amount of disease problems. They had a vaccination program, and that, we had a horrible mistake. 30 million people now are suffering from bloody hepatitis C. That's conservative, so we all cure it. No problem. Right? El-Sisi executed recently 800 people who was involved in the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, the Muslim Brotherhood, although they are lunatics, were elected. The guy, Morsi, was it? He was elected as the president of the country. So the military coup goes in and takes over, and now he's out of there, and all his supporters, of course, they're all raising up in arms, as you would in most countries. You got a civil war, because we're primitive people, these Egyptians, right? And 130 million people there, by the way. They say officially 90 million, it's much more than that. So he clamps down on them. Well, they all think the sun shines out his ass, right? Oh, he's lovely. His mother is a Mossad agent from Morocco. His uncle's a Mossad agent. Probably, if he had a father, a Mossad agent. They're Israelis. This is what they do. They'll set it up over 100 years or more to have someone move into a nation that are Mossad Israeli agents, right? So go back far enough, is it called Mossad? Doesn't matter what they called it. They're Jewish assholes that went in to take over a nation. So he's this hero. Oh, he's a lovely man. One woman who was showing us the caves where they have the bloody the kings, Temple of the Kings, right? She said, "Oh, he makes me feel funny inside." It's a Muslim woman, right? Like she wants to root him. In Australia, it means to fuck him, right? Oh, this is just talking about this, how he's what a lovely guy he is, and how she feels all these funny feelings inside. I thought, you bloody slut. The man is a Jew, and he's taken over the country. Now, on the Israeli flag, you've got a line of blue up top and a line of blue on the bottom. That's the two rivers, Euphrates and the Nile. In between is all Israel with Rothschild flag on it, Rothschild shield on it. Right? It means shield of blood, started in Germany. Right. So he stopped a Libyan jet delivering food going into Palestine. The first thing he done while we were there, while he was still in the army, was to cut off all the tunnels where the Palestinians, desperate for food, would smuggle food in through these tunnels. The Yanks, God bless America, here they go, I love America. The bunker bombs. There's all these hundreds of thousands of people digging these tunnels for trying to support their families, and the bunker bomb comes in and it's this huge, weighs something, I don't know, 50 tons or something, and they dropped it, and that sets up a concussion and goes down hundreds of feet, collapsing all the tunnels with people in them, of course. It's called a bunker bomb. America did that. People with aid coming in through the Mediterranean, the Israelis cut them off and sink the boats. What has the Palestinians done? They ran from cover from those Jews as of 1948. They've come in there and pushed them out of their own nation. It's been there for 2,000 years. Because they're saying that they are the chosen ones. Chosen by who? It certainly wasn't me. So who chose whom? Well, they chose themselves. And as it turns out, they had Jews anyhow. And even if they were Jews, they still rejected Jesus. They ain't got nothing to do with me. You ain't getting into heaven without going through Jesus, right? It's a Jesus property. Creation on the earth is Jesus, right? It's just God by another name. That's all it is. Same soul. And that's why I'm here today, to make judgment on these abominations. And you go into town here in Harvey Bay, they do what they do in Australia, they probably do it all around the world. They do social experiments. You got women here in Harvey Bay covered in tattoos, and they would weigh 300 to 400 pounds. Lots of them. You go to other areas, they've got other distinct problems, right? One area we went to where they've got people that are all nice and slim, as a human being should be. Right? So it's a social experiment in areas. We go to Fiji, and the big problem there is diabetes. That's caused by the oils. You can buy a packet of cigarettes for about 1/10 or less the cost of a packet of cigarettes in Australia. Or you go to New Guinea, up there, it's malaria and AIDS. Huh? The people here, what is it? Cancer. Oh, that's a good one. It's all in the food. The mycoplasmas. The crystallisation of the viruses and so forth that they put in through the tobacco in the old days, and cancers, and you name the diseases that kick in. They can be triggered by radio waves, they can be triggered by television sets, or be triggered by the cell phone that you stick up to your ear. People get tumours who use the phone too often. Do you think you can't build a phone that doesn't do that? This is the hellhole we live in. Now at the back, I've just built a greenhouse, and the idea is to show you Americans how to build a greenhouse and have the most efficient way of producing a protein. Now, it doesn't mean you can have all different types of fruit, or rather flowering plants and so forth. Everything from protein-rich flowers right through to how about soybean? That's a good idea. No. Through to wheatgrass. Grows quick. And you can make a soup out of it. You can chew it. It's sweet. It tastes nice. Right? You can give it to your chickens. Chickens will produce the eggs. So you'll have chickens that'll produce eggs for you by wheatgrass. How fast does it grow?
What days?
in days, this wheatgrass.
Well,
and
it's sprouting.
it's a sprout. So here's a little seed, comes up and it's got a little tail that goes down into the soil. 2 or 3 days, there it is. I tried it out at this guy's farm yesterday and just munched it. It's delicious.
No, his was mixed with barley.
Oh, that's barley, yeah.
Barley and wheatgrass together.
And he's got all the organic seed and where to get it from. That hasn't got under.
Well, he said it's his own. He brought it in from Lebanon. Had a struggle to get it. It's his own seed, heritage seed.
So here's this man who has had his own farm in Lebanon. He said to his workers, you leave your religion at the gate. When you work for him, you walk in there, no religion. Well, he's a very intelligent man. We had a long talk, and I explained to him a lot of things that intelligent people have a bit of a problem with because they don't know what is the root cause of the situation in the world. Because he's also shaking his head, right? Chemtrails and GMO foods, and he knows all about that because that's the business he's in. But he doesn't know what the root cause of it is. He knows it's Jews, but what is the root cause? Well, he didn't know about the straw man. That opened his eyes up a bit. So what is a straw man? That is, I've said before, but anyone who's listening for the first time, straw man is your sale of your birth certificate, similar to a ship that pulls into dock and a captain of the ship has to have a bill of lading, which they give to the port authorities, the Maritime Services Board, for example, in Australia, and they do a stock count, what the value of it is, and when it's landed on the dock, if it's worth $30 million, let's say Toyota cars, for example, that increases the value of the country by $30 million. The same applies when you export something. So all these things is all maritime law. Now, maritime law took over Australia. Australia was never settled by Britain. Maritime law took it over. In other words, the maritime law is of the sea, and anything that's floating in the sea, like Australia, right, falls under that category. It's in the maritime law, surrounded by the sea of the maritime law. So, we've got a good idea. All babies is born. Wait a minute, maritime law, take a ship, right, take out of the water onto dry land. You've got goods, and it has a value. Whoopee. So, here's a woman. She's got a little sea inside her. It's called the amniotic fluid. She gives birth. So we've got to give her a certificate of birth for the goods that she has now plonked on the dock, called the land, called the hospital, called the maternity ward. And that baby's birth certificate is sold. You know, in Australia, it used to be £1 million when I was a boy, right? So presently a birth certificate, well, I shouldn't say what it is today because things are rapidly changing in America, but so go back 3 years ago, a birth certificate was worth just under $7 million for every baby born. They then take the birth certificate, in Australia's case, they take it to the embassy in Washington. They bring out the laws for registering a company, and the baby is then declared dead by the court in Australia, intestate without a will. So therefore, whatever the baby is worth at death in 30, 40, 100 years' time, it's got to be owned by somebody, some Jewish corporation owns it. And when that baby dies, or when the man dies in a war, or when a woman dies of ovarian cancer, or breast cancer, all these things are totally curable, of course, or men with prostate cancer, or lung cancer, or you name it. When they die, the amount of money that their birth certificate, which has been traded on the stock market as a security bond for cash. So therefore, it builds up over a period of time. And you might notice that a lot of the American movie stars died around 51 years of age. Right? I can give you a list if you like. But it's because I think if you listen to Abel Danger, although he's a very smart man but stupid at the same time, he talks about how they will gamble on a war, how many body bags that fill from Vietnam, for example, per day, what the straw man is. I don't think he knows about that. But they were gambling on how many people would die in any given situation. Let's say an earthquake in Afghanistan. How many people are going to die there? And they gamble on it. Holy shit. It's so unreal that the average person listening to this, who's never heard of any of it, would not grasp it and say, oh, this man's full of shit. Well, I can tell you I ain't. I'm telling you the truth. Why? Well, there is one scripture that is correct, and the truth will set you free. Don't matter who tells you. The truth will set you free. It doesn't have to be a Jesus figure. It doesn't have to be God figure. It doesn't have to be one little sweetie sitting beside me. You can't keep your hands off my fucking glasses. Right? Anyone who tells you the truth will set you free of the bullshit. And this is the world of bullshit. So, please, wake up. Can you imagine a little child in Lebanon 7 years ago getting her arms blown off? And this man witnessing it, his workers, because he had PVC pipes. That, the Israelis say, well, put horse shit in it and you can make a rocket out of it. And they're using 50-ton bunker bombs to kill Palestinians. They've levelled entire city blocks because of the reported murder of 3 Israeli boys alone. They have no problem shooting their own. 3 Israeli boys, if there were 3 Israeli boys killed, it wouldn't have been done by the Palestinians, it would have been done by the Jews to start another move against bombing thousands. Was over 1,000 people killed in a month?
There's been at least 300 children, 1,400 dead altogether, and about 7,000 injured, which means loss of limb. Blown to pieces, but still.
So in Freemasonry, there's a thing called mayhem. And what that means is, oh, you love this, it is better to maim a person than kill them. This is in the old days. The reason being is it takes 4 to 6 people to look after a maimed person who's got a leg blown off or something, then a couple of shovels to bury someone. When you maim someone, it lasts for decades. And then they've got to buy pharmaceuticals and they've got to do this, they've got to have the hospitals.
So the resources of the country.
So the resources is drained continuously, and of course you've got to look at who's supplying them under the counter with the resources that are like the pharmaceutical corporations, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, God bless them. Lovely people. I'd like to get all the Rothschilds in one room with me. Give me half hour. Right? Make sure there's a lot of body bags. And I won't need an Uzi. So on that happy note, I mean, I can dream, can I? How are we going for time, precious?
Well, let me put my glasses on.
You know, I laid in bed last night and thought, how am I going to cure her of this glasses bloody insanity? And I figured out what I was going to do. I was going to back the car out of the garage and reach over and grab your sunglasses and throw them out in the grass and drive off.
We could just get a dining room table and set it up over there so that we're eating there. And
you could keep your hands off my glasses.
Oh, look, all right, I promise I'll try. I will.
I don't want a promise. I'll try.
I will not touch your glasses ever again.
Forbid you.
I will not
to put your hand on my glasses.
I will not touch your glasses ever again.
Well, we'll see.
All right, what are we up to? 49. 9 minutes to go.
Take over.
I've got nothing to say. I mean, you talk about you wanting to pull the plug. Well, I've been thinking that for a very long time.
Look, it's when you're in the God situation, see, I sort of snap in and out of it. When I need to, I can do incredible things when I get angry. I step through realms when I get angry. The reality is the past, present and future is happening in the mind of the Creator, and the Creator is myself. Now, at this present time, I'm dealing with the stupidity of the earth, but I've had just about enough of it. Right? And I have no problem switching it all off and starting again. Say, right, there'll be no free will, be no made in the image of God, because you can't handle it, right? Create a whole bunch of new children, new planet, and away we go. And I'll be the overseer, and my little sweetie here, as long as she promises not to touch my glasses.
Oh, honey, it's heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking.
Now, all jokes aside, I don't need glasses. You can touch them all you want. I have found throughout my life, if I tell someone to do something, they won't do it. If I tell them not to do it, they do it. So touch my glasses. Do what you like with them. Break them in half. Jump on top of them. I'll go buy another pair and I'll hide them somewhere.
Well, we should... That could be an exercise. Let's round up all the glasses in this household and just count how many pairs we've got.
I've only got one pair.
The one that's beside you, right?
The one I just found after 2 weeks of being missing. How they got there, I have no idea. All right, you carry on.
I don't think I've got anything to carry on with. No, seriously. Well, all right, let's just go through...
all right, just look into
happening.
Nehemiah. It's very, very important because
here
you've got
to... all right, this is a Photoshop that looks like Pierre's put it together. He's got Francis presiding over two princes from fairy tales. Looks like Cinderella and whatever else has a prince in it. And he's marrying them both.
Oh.
And he's just got wrong on the top of it. Isn't marriage supposed to be between Adam and Eve? Oh, that would be because of...
Adam and Steve, isn't it?
Well, here's George Galloway. George Galloway tells Israeli general the gangster terrorist state of Israel's days are, and then it goes on. Well, George Galloway is another one that knows that the Christ is here.
The two-faced prick.
So I left a comment, well, the world rightfully focuses on Palestine because our barbarians, led by the rabid dog, are behind the slaughter of the Ukrainians in the Jew effort to now cleanse their true homeland, opening the way for their return to, now, sorry folks, our promised land. And while the world leaders, including Galloway, know the Christ is back, the public announcement of his return to the nations is the only information that will stop the warmongering bastards. The knowledge suppressed by the same controlled media, call it MSM or alternative, total bullshit, all of it, unless they are announcing the Christ returned as Pope Benedict XVI did in March 2013 with the link to the Apostolic Letter. So, oh God. Israel was killing children long before Hamas was created. Yes, because they blame everything on Hamas. And I was looking at some quotes of gold in my ear. Oh my God.
Pretty woman.
Oh, she prides herself that she wasn't attractive because then she could focus on her job. So she tells the world that when the Arabs love their children more than they hate the Jews, then they'll stop killing the Israeli children. What a bunch of lies. Palestine before... Can somebody re-upload Palestine before 1947? What a nation. Smart, educated, well-fed. A pleasure, just an awesome place to be and to know the people. No army, ever. And along comes the Rothschild plan for Israel, and then the idiots who go along with it. And of course the
Like Civil War in America, make my day.
Yeah. What's this? Rodney shared something. If this is going to be a Christian nation that doesn't help the poor, either we've got to pretend that Jesus was just as selfish as we are, or we've got to acknowledge that he commanded us to love the poor and serve the needy without condition, and then admit that we just don't want to do it. Stephen Colbert. All total. In 1945, a B-25 bomber flew into the Empire State Building.
That's right.
You. Okay. I think that's it. I've got nothing more to say today. 55 minutes. Great. We'll end it here. For everybody listening, thank you. We've got 76 followers now and 92 views on a show from... So in the scheme of things, you're all doing really well. It's just that the 99.9999999% would be helpful to wake up.
Okay, you can't do too much about Palestine, but you can focus on Nehemiah. Have a look what's going on down there. And look up your straw man, lulu.com, my name, Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall, straw man, the straw man Bernard. Have a look at that. You won't be able to get your money back because they stop you at every turn, but it does have all the ways you are supposed to be able to redeem your money. I think it's been done once.
Later, Gators.